Boom. We are live, episode 47 of the Short Convos podcast.
47.
47.
Did your homework?
I did. Oh, yeah, I think so. Unless I got it wrong, then I'm sorry. But I believe episode 47. Apologies if we missed last week's episode. With the whole of the UK keep flipping upside down and backwards. We didn't quite get a point to slot it in. So we're here now. We didn't miss much. Jay, you are clean shaven.
I am clean shaven. For those at home, I had a few inches of a beard. Well, maybe an inch and a half of a beard. And yes, we are officially spring. Officially spring.
You look 10 years, 15 years younger.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. It knocks it off.
It's intended. It definitely does.
It's like you've gone skinny, and it's like no, it's just
it's just a fluff.
Yeah,
exactly. So where would we like to start today? Did you have anything in particular in mind?
Well, we missed, obviously, as you said in the intro there, we missed last week's podcast. And for me personally, I think I've hit a point. I had a mini meltdown at the weekend. I'm happy to own that. Yeah, we haven't caught up, have we? I think it's because we didn't have our catch up last week, Az. I think that's
we did try, but we just couldn't find a time slot, so we're here. Yeah. Tell me about this meltdown.
Well, where I'm at the moment is I don't know if you again can relate, but things are having to give. It's a good place to be in a sense that you're amongst those pressure plates, but it's a place where I try to avoid. Things are just having to give, i.e. not doing this podcast last week, i.e. not getting back to messages, i.e. Not doing something else. It's literally at a point, myself personally, where things are just giving because you just don't have the hours, you don't have the energy. I think on Saturday it just all hit me at once, and I was just really foggy-headed as soon as I got up. I was in bed by 7 o'clock, and those that know me, I usually a night owl, I stay up later, and it's like all of a sudden lots was going on, and it was trying to process it all.
What pulls you out of that when that happens? Because I know I can really relate to that feeling and that sensation. And I know I've got a few things I have to do if I want to get out of that place.
Sleep, basically. I just have to sleep. I think I still carry, I think, some grief and things like that, I think it brings it all up and it just hits you, and it's like, I just cannot function. It literally cannot function. It's like you're just completely, you're not even tired. It's just you're completely wiped out. And I find things that you don't have to think about, that you enjoy doing, helps me get out of it. So, for instance, on the Sunday, going for a walk with the dogs, obviously spending time with family, the other half telling yourself to pull yourself together or advising you is always helpful. Just sitting with the bonsais for a number of hours, and then it slowly starts to bring you out. I think I've gone through times and periods, especially again referring to the grief, where you don't realise what's happening, and it really grabs you and keeps you.
It's too late, right?
Yeah, I think I've got to a point now that it's like, okay, it's here. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to get into a boxing match with it. I'm just going to accept it. Today's a write-off. We're getting nothing done today. And then, I think acceptance is the best thing. Accept it and just learn to ride it.
With the grief, I'm assuming it's because I don't have a lot of grief in my life yet. I've got that all to come. But I assume a lot of it must be date related. But I guess every now and then it must just come over you. And you maybe there is a date, but you didn't even kind of consciously think of it. Was there a date around it recently, or are you just swept you?
Like if you wanted to reference an actual date, like I'm really good at remembering things. So even though it's not in the diary, I can always remember. So it's at the end of April that my dad passed away. I don't think there's anything related to hearing, seeing, or anything like that. I just think the overwhelming sometimes of life itself. There's stuff going on that you don't know that's going on. there's subconscious, things and everything else. And I think when you hit that point where you're really stressed or you're really tired or you're really, whatever it is,
they
I
spill
think
out.
it then, it spills out. I think you're always coping with certain things. I think the older you get, the more you have to cope with certain things in life. Acceptances, such as grief, for instance, that you can't change, or actions you've made, or whatever. And then I think it's always underlying most of the mundane daily things, or the exciting things you do, and places you travel and everything. I think it sometimes, doesn't keep it going, kind of thing. I travelled on Wednesday as well. I left the house I went the furthest I had for some time to start planning an event, the Grand Slam at the end of the year. So I travelled and we met up for a business project in between, obviously following all COVID guidelines and everything else. And I called Lauren on the way back and I said, I feel really guilty. I didn't break any rules, but because I had some fun. I saw some people, we did some things, and it was like I had some fun. And I feel a bit guilty, as in, we're actually doing something, and it's like, it's a bit crazy. And I don't know if that had a little bit of a knock-on effect.
Yeah, I imagine it did. Me and my wife have a term for this. We call it the cheese and the cheese toasty machine. And it references back to a time where I'd had to move back in with my mum for a while, and we were all under the same house, including some of my sisters. So it was a lot of people, a lot of energy, a lot of egos, all in one place. And a lot was going on, but we were all keeping it under wraps. It's not that we weren't dealing with it and we weren't talking about stuff, but stuff was bubbling up, like you said, subconsciously. You don't even really realize it at the front of your mind. And then one day I was in the kitchen and I noticed that someone hadn't cleaned their oozing cheese out of the cheese toasty machine.
No.
And I just completely flipped. And I had such an irrational breakdown over this cheese. I was like, is it so hard to clean some cheese? And Anne was around at the time. We were like really early days of dating. And she was just looking at me like, this has nothing to do with cheese in a cheese toasty machine. So that's like our reference point when we realize that either of us has got to a point where other things are there, but it's bubbled to the surface. And now these little things suddenly seem like it's a big deal, and it's not. But like you said, that pressure plate and things just fall through the cracks.
I've really noticed this actually with the coaching side of things, especially at the highest level of the sport that we do. Bing, hit that bell. Yeah, there it is. Ready. I think at the highest level of what we do, because you're under so much the emotional pressure comes out at those points, and quite often the tears, tantrums, and I think we spoke about it before, haven't we? You said you were speaking to a student on the side of the mat. It's not always the loss or the getting hit or the whatever else. It's just whatever's going on in life at that particular moment or whatever is what bubbles out.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely seems to be what it is. Stuff just pours out of people in those situations. I think I've seen more realness from people in those situations than I have, in many others. It tends to manifest a lot in those places.
Yeah. You said about cheese toasties. I had a question to ask you actually.
Okay, I have one for you too, but go for it.
That deals with sandwiches. So, sandwich, 2 slices, together. Whatever, whether it's going in the cheese toasty. Actually, the cheese toasty solves this. The cheese toasty, or it depends what cheese toasty you got. So maybe you can tell me about this cheese toast. What are you laughing for?
I just love the way you tell stories sometimes.
So maybe your cheese toasty already does this. So you got 2 pieces of cheese. You got 2 pieces of bread. What is in between is not relevant, or maybe it is relevant. I don't know how deep we're going to get with this, but I'm going to draw the picture of jam and peanut butter. So this is a PJ sandwich, 2 rounds. You'd call that 2 rounds, wouldn't you? 2 pieces of toast, 2 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know all the sandwich terminology, to be fair.
Okay, so we're not going one slice in half. I just want to make that clear, yeah?
Oh, right, understand. 2 full slices.
2 full slice. Brown bread, white bread, multigrain, 50. Again,
As
it
you
might change
please.
it. Got the stuff between it. Which way do you cut that sandwich?
Oh God! See, no. Is this even a question?
I want to
Just,
know.
but if all right.
And
Well,
explain it.
so I cut it diagonally, which is correct. Correct.
Based on what?
Just so you know how we know instinctively that killing people is wrong.
Yeah.
There's just something in you that tells you I shouldn't strangle people to death on a daily basis. Isn't it the same?
What
Isn't
does
it
your
that?
toasty do? What does your toasty? Or does it do like a fancy Mickey Mouse face or something?
So this recently, we can get onto this if you want. I've gone back to the frying pan. So I've come away from the cheese toasty machine, not related to my tantrum, and I've gone back to doing a cheese toasty in a frying pan. So the choice is back to me. But when I had cheese toasty machines, it made it into a triangle.
Triangle,
as in two triangles.
does the pouch, doesn't it?
Down the with the pouch. But
well,
I just
Cici and I were talking about it, and I had to ask you. So, like, I agree, the triangle is the way to go. It's the experience of eating it is different, isn't it?
Yes. Well, it's designed that way because then it fits in your mouth from the diagonal. Yeah, it's like.
But you can always take it from the middle if you really wanted to, especially if it's like crunchy.
If you wanted to, yes, you can. It gives you all the options, whereas a corner of a square, not so much.
This is where we got stuck.
Okay.
You've got to go in half to put it in a lunchbox.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you lunchbox? Like I have a lunchbox. Poppy girls go to school with a lunchbox. So the practicality of the triangle doesn't work in a lunchbox.
No.
Some lunchboxes don't even facilitate it. And how do you wrap a triangle? Like wrapping one of those balls from Lush at Christmas.
I have an answer, but I don't like my own answer, so I don't know if it then counts. But my answer is you go into rectangles, shiver, and then you cut each rectangle into
a triangle.
Diagonal triangles, yes. So then you would have a rectangular triangle.
So you're going to a quadrant on the bread, and then triangles. Otherwise, if you went in half, obviously you keep the top half, the bottom half. You don't do it a long ways, do you?
No,
so you do it in half. If you did it that way, that wouldn't be a decent triangle, would it? That'd be like a.
Well, it would be a triangle. It would just have to be a lopsided triangle, but a triangle nonetheless. But as I said, I don't like it, but it's a solution if you need to have it in a triangle. But I think when you're talking triangles, I'm talking when it's an event. Like I'm making myself a sandwich for lunch and I'm about to sit down and eat it. And I put it on the chopping board and I'm going to chop it before putting it on my plate. It's going to be a triangle.
Yeah.
Going in a lunchbox, it's utilitarian. You've got to get it in there, so it gets in there how it gets in there. But if it's an occasion, then it's different. Right. We are talking about food, so I'm just going to carry it on a little further, and then we'll try and find something else to talk about. I have a philosophical question for you.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Kung Fu Panda?
Of course. Pow.
Okay.
Or Po. Which one was it?
Po.
Yes.
You've made me question it.
He liked dumplings.
Do you think, and what would you consider, all these animals to be vegan?
Well, a panda isn't, is it?
I don't know if I think a panda is a vegan.
Completely vegan. I reckon a panda wants to eat you if it had a chance.
I don't know if a panda would want to eat me if it had the chance.
Well, there's a tiger. That's clearly not.
What's
a tiger?
Well, no. So a tiger isn't. But here's my question. So the duck owns a ramen shop. What's the chance that he makes crispy aromatic duck? Very unlikely. So what does he serve his tigers?
Yeah, but
Chickens?
it was
'Cause
set.
he's quite
It was
close
set
to a
at a
chicken.
time. It was set at a time, wasn't it? With like the likes of what was the guy that went across Mongolia?
The
Like
hunts.
he serves you his duck enemies.
So you're going with the dark idea that the duck guy with the ramen shop was serving up duck
Yeah, hell
or
yeah. But
pork.
his enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine. Okay. All right, then we're
yeah.
there. Then that's fine. I wasn't
Why
quite
we?
sure. I don't.
Why
I
this
was
really puzzled
undecided.
you? Did you watch Kung Fu Panda, or what brought this question out?
I can't actually remember where it came from. Oh, me and my wife have been testing a lot of vegan substitutes for things. So
Okay.
recently it's been vegan parmesan, trying to find cheese to go on a pasta that's not cheese. And then I was thinking, do they substitute things in Kung Fu Panda Land? Because it would just be weird to sit next to a pig and be eating pork.
Eating a big.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they might get a bit funny about it. Maybe they don't, or maybe just no one eats it. Because I don't think at any point did they reference if those dumplings were meat dumplings or not. If the noodles
I
were,
don't recall it. No.
I don't think so. So it came to mind. I don't know how far we
Yeah.
want to go with it. Is I'm not sure, but it bothered
So
me.
so you're looking at vegan things because of your tummy or because of something else?
No, for her, she was a vegetarian and is now transitioning to being fully vegan. So in that
Okay.
process, she's now having to eliminate all dairy and all eggs, but she enjoys baking, she enjoys Italian food, and all of these things are very heavy on the cheese and the eggs. So we're enjoying the process of figuring out what's good and what's not in the world of
And
substitutes.
may I ask why the step further?
I think she's always wanted to. I think the only thing that held her back was nutritionally, she was concerned about getting enough protein, getting enough
And all
healthy
those.
fats,
Okay.
and all of those. So I think she's been reluctant to make the jump because she didn't want her own health to deteriorate whilst looking out for environment, animal welfare, and all the rest of it. But I've tried to be very supportive of it and not push against it, and therefore I think we've slowly kind of gone in that direction. Yeah, but it's a good time to be a vegan in that sense, because there's so many options now compared to like when we were kids. I don't really remember there being options, vegan alternatives. I don't remember it really being a thing, but now everything has a vegan alternative.
Okay. Yeah. I said before, haven't I? Like I've got a really good relationship with food now, so I'm eating whatever crawls across the floor. But no, not quite literally. But no, we have also different reasons cut back on meat and fish and everything else. We started the show you asking us about myself. How about you, Az? Where are you at?
I'm okay. And you know what really resonated is when you said you felt a bit guilty. I feel a bit guilty for being okay. Because like everyone around me
before in a different way,
yeah, everyone around me feels like they're crumbling a little bit, and I'm absolutely fine, and I feel a bit bad.
Pointed at you.
I'm just trying to keep it quiet. I'm almost to the thing where I'm like, yeah, me too. It's rough, but really, I'm like, meh, I'm all right. So I'm carrying a bit of weird guilt around. And again, not because I'm doing anything wrong that's allowing me to keep my sanity. I'm doing what everyone else is doing. I just seem to be either coping with it well, or like you said, subconsciously I'm going insane, but I've managed to like push it in this little bottle. And it's just like, fermenting, and it's going to boil over.
You asked us, how did I get through it? The mini meltdown. That made me think as you were talking there is, I think a big thing that I've learned over the years, because I've had a fair few mini meltdowns and bigger meltdowns than that, is acceptance. And like you say, you're okay. I can actually say I'm okay. I'm cool. And even with the mini meltdown, during that exact time, I was okay. I was cool. It was like, I think a big thing is when you fight against these things and when you don't accept it for what it is. It's not a right or wrong, good or bad. It's just that balance and accepting it. And I think when you don't and you try and fight, I think that's when, I think I'm repeating myself from earlier, but that's a big thing. So
No, you're
even
right.
even doing the mini meltdown during it, I can laugh at it because, like Lauren does, we laugh at it. Yeah, you're having a mini meltdown. It's like, yeah, it's going in, and you can take it like that.
Well, yeah, I think the only mistake would be to think that having a mini meltdown is not a completely normal thing to do. Like we all have
Yeah,
mini meltdowns all the time. So I think that's what it, because there seems to be an attitude that if you're having mini meltdowns that you don't have your life together. But I think it's part of having your life together is you're going to at some point melt down, as well as everything else, right? You're going to have days where you're just sad and then just angry and not really any feasible reason to it. It's just how you feel in that time. So I find
yeah.
that normal. My coping mechanism has always been to write things. If I get all
Okay.
in my head, I just have to get it out of my head, and then I like almost instantly feel better. If I start writing it down, because I normally start really angry and really irrational. Read the first paragraph of any of my notes, and you would think I'm a psychopath, because the first one is just like, I really want to just kill everybody with a sword. I want to see their blood pour from their veins. And then by the time I get to the bottom of the page, I'm like, but life is okay and I'm fine and everyone's healthy and I'm full of love and of peace and happiness. But yeah, you have to get there.
Yeah. Music is the other thing, isn't it? And we've said that before, how music that just resonates, doesn't it, and brings you out of it.
It does. I think that this is where like we record a podcast and we listen to podcasts, but I think sometimes these things are not the right thing to go to. I think sometimes the best thing you can do is go to music because it just touches feelings rather than getting you thinking so much. Like it can just take you to a place. So I try to make a conscious effort when I'm not feeling great to listen to more music and listen to less podcasts. I actually read less books when I'm not feeling great because I don't find that filling my head with more ideas helps me come out of that place.
Yeah, and it's things like we've spoken recently about the morning and the evening routines, and I think they are most important when you're not doing so great as well.
Yeah.
I think that's when I think they help stabilize you, but that's where they help fix you and not. So, for instance, Saturday wasn't that great, and I didn't touch social media whatsoever. Didn't go on it at all, and I think that's a healthy thing. And I didn't sit and watch the screen. I just went to bed. I read a bit, went to sleep. I think those are healthy habits at those times as well.
Yeah, it's listening to yourself, isn't it? Listening to what the body needs. And if it tells you you need rest, you need to sleep, and you can listen to that, then I think that's a really powerful thing, a powerful like tool to have in your arsenal, the ability to just listen to what you need and then do it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I've got a bit of a rant. I saw it on I think it was on telly. Was it an advert? Or it might have, no, you have your adverts coming up on the social media saying that now.
Yeah.
And it was for garden mat. It was like 15 quid for a garden mat that had fancy little edges to it. So when you're doing your gardening, I've just had a thought actually. That day I must have been doing my bonsais and that's come up. But anyway, weird.
Is this like a kneeling mat?
No, it doesn't. Well, it might have even had a pouch bit where you could kneel on and that, and you could do like basically it's to collect any shit that comes off your plant, so that you can then neatly fold it and put it there. Have you got one?
I haven't got one. I understand what you mean
But
now.
it's like it's just shit you don't need.
Yeah, very much so.
It's like I know everyone's got to make a living, but there's so much of it out there, isn't there? Just shit you don't need. And it's like
more than ever.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get bought
That's
into
what
that?
draws me. Well, that's what draws me to minimalism is it catches you when that comes around because you can get tricked into it. You can look at stuff and go, oh, that's a neat little gadget. I need that in my life. But if you stop for a minute, you just think, actually, 99% of the time I can do exactly that with something I've already got at home. And it's normally called a knife. You know, if you've got a knife, you probably don't need any little, especially in the kitchen. Kitchen gadgets like this are the worst. I don't know if you've ever seen or gone down this rabbit hole, but there is like 100 different cutting tools for cutting every individual thing.
Oh, there's these silly things for boiling eggs as well, and all of that, isn't there?
That's an essential tool in any kitchen.
No, I'm throwing that. Previous episode, throwback.
Yes, yeah, I don't like knickknacks at the best of times, and yeah, useless stuff like that where it's just like, just let it fall on the floor and let nature blow it away. Or if you don't like it, sweep it up like a normal.
And on that side of things, it's not necessarily something you're going to see in an advert, you know, trying to sell you some useless tool that someone's thinks you need. But this was actually a kid that had written to publishers or someone in charge of it and said, please, we don't want this stuff anymore. The little plastic things, toys that come on the magazines. Now, do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know that was still a thing, to be honest.
Yeah, supposedly they've either passed some law or something. She's only a young girl, and she's written to whoever it is that makes them all and said, look, we love the magazine, we still want the magazine, but we don't want the crappy toy on the front. And like, there's a bit of research behind it. It's made out of the cheapest plastic that lasts the longest, and the toy never works or breaks after the first use. And, you know, I'll be guilty as a parent in the past. We've bought these magazines, you know, because it has drawn the kid in. Oh, there's a Frozen thing on it, and it's like, it seems like the world's waking up a little. Maybe it's just the angle I'm looking at, but it seems like the world's waking up a little bit to all of this now.
Yeah, I think so. I think generally the world's waking up a lot. And, you know, we've spoke about everything on this channel, from race to, you know, late women's rights and the environment, you know, plastic, recycling, all this stuff. I think, yeah, there's more and more information available to us, and people are now starting to take account of it. They're starting to listen. But that's a really beautiful thing. Like the whole, we've nearly got rid of plastic straws now. I can't remember the last time I went somewhere and got a plastic straw. They tend to all be paper at this point.
But have you watched that program? I've not watched it. Lawrence watched it. I walked in while she was watching it, about the I can't think what it's called. Seaspiracy. Yeah.
Seaspiracy, yeah. No, but I know exactly what you're talking about, because they basically say, are we talking about
where
the whole thing
about the straws?
I don't know, because I haven't watched it yet to know.
Oh, you've not seen it?
No, but I saw a comment on something about straws that brought that up, that's not the issue, and that fishing and farming of fishes is what really is the issue. But like, nonetheless, plastic straws, getting rid of that, it's a good thing, right? We got rid of mostly plastic bags. Remember, you just used to get plastic bags. You'd go to your food shop and you'd come away with 5 new plastic bags. And now that's very much going away. So we're getting there. It's way too slow. I think, like, you know, the David Attenborough documentary showed, we're not moving quick enough in the right direction.
Not quicker than what we're taking away, are we?
Yeah, but thank God we are, to some extent, moving that way, even if it's just on a personal level in your own little bubble.
Yeah, I've got three things. Finish the show if you like. Top three.
Top three.
My angle on this: things you don't have. Okay. 3 things you don't have, but we'll categorize it: clothing. You can
don't
throw
have
it out
and don't want.
Bronze, silver, gold. I'm throwing it to you.
Okay.
You can bat it back however you like.
3 items of clothing that I don't have. I never have, ever, a proper winter jacket.
Okay.
I never do. As close as I get is some form of a puffer jacket, but even there, you'd look at it and go, that's all right for a bit of a chill. But if we ever got like real minus temperatures, I'd be in trouble because I do not have an appropriate coat for that situation.
Is that your gold? Is that your gold standard?
I don't know if it's a gold yet, so I'm not. I will get you a bronze, silver, gold by the end of it. I'll put them in an order, but for now,
Yeah.
I'll pluck them out of the sky.
And you'd want it in black, do you, or white?
The
grey?
jacket.
Yeah.
It would have to be in black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Has to be.
I think black. Yeah, unless there's a real discount on the grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a grey with a heavy discount.
I've got a really nice winter jacket bought many years ago for us, and I feel really proud because it's lasted really well. It's got a couple of areas, you know, a couple of things of this and that, but the zip went on it. Most annoyingly, the zip went, and like, you know, a really nice jacket, outdoor jacket. If you're going to get one that's going to last a good, you know, few hundred quid. So I just went and got the zip remade. Put on. I went to the dry cleaners. I think it was 30 quid or something to have new zip. The zip's actually better than the original zip.
What was on it?
And it's so satisfying. It's like, I still got my jacket and this mad zip. It's like, yeah, really satisfying.
Just sit there going up and down.
Yeah. I want a sun visor. I want a wolf pack, which is our fighting club team sun visor. That's what I want right now. You know, the top part.
Empty hat. Top.
Yeah.
Just the visor.
Yeah. So
what has brought that on?
I think Last Chance U. Are you familiar? I think
I was going to assume it was something to do with football.
NFL, yeah, American football. Like I've got a good collection of caps now. I've got a fedora. I've got, you know, a few different hats, winter hats, everything. But I don't have a sun visor, so I want a red Wolfpack sun visor.
What is the point of a sun visor?
Keeps sun at your eyes, doesn't it?
Got it, but so does a baseball cap. But is it so you can preserve your hairdo?
I think the cap is too hot on top of your head, isn't it? Or yeah, maybe it's
would it be the opposite? That's the only thing I come to.
And because I want to wear it back to front upside down. You can't do that with a cap.
Why would you want to do that with a sun visor?
It's going to look mad, isn't it?
Just to look awesome.
Yeah.
What more reason do you need? All right, I can go for a sun visor. I'll go for one that I would like / need. Well, I don't currently have a pair of jeans.
Not at all.
I only keep 1 or 2 pairs at a time because minimalist thing. And I have ripped both of them quite violently at the crotch area.
Oh,
so at the moment,
that's the look at the moment, isn't it?
Oh no, this is definitely not. no one wants to see this.
What to be looking at?
No. So I don't currently own a pair of jeans that I could put on tomorrow and wear out.
Would they be black? Or when you say jeans, you mean traditional jeans?
Classique. Yeah, I'm.
You're breaking your color code.
Well, I don't think I've ever specified on the trousers, but I've always just liked a dark wash denim. That's always been my preference.
I'm learning.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, I need a pair of jeans because I don't currently own it. But again, this is down to having basically a whole year where you really didn't need to wear almost any clothing at all. So I've just not really had a reason to go out and get a set, and I'll hold off a little bit longer until the need arises.
Walk around in just your dressing gown, yeah.
Yeah, just this t-shirt, Jay. That's why we don't stand up on this show.
Have I said I've got an appreciation for trainers now?
Yes, we've spoke about you and Cece have got together on this one.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to share with Cece. Like she likes almost obsessively trainers. You know, we don't have the money to pursue quite her obsession, but she obsessively likes or knows trainers. And I can appreciate the trainers. My Nike 290s. I can't remember what ones they are. The ones with the bubble around them and all that. I noticed the other day the heel is coming off. So you know, like on a Nike, you've got the bubble at the back. You can the whole heel is coming off. So I need this is on a need basis, a new pair of trainers. And it's like they were my really good trainers as well, that I've just clearly walked into the ground.
Walked through
So
to the
yeah,
ground.
I'm gonna need to be acquiring a pair of Nikes soon.
Well, that comes nicely to my third one, which I actually just need a complete shoe selection. I don't.
Okay.
I've currently got a pair of trainers that are worn in and destroyed, a pair of smartish shoes that are scuffed up to the point of no return, and no form of anything in between for if it was like a smart casual or anything like that. So I don't really have a pair of shoes at the moment, other than just these very worn in Nikes that I wear at the moment for every occasion. Like if there was a funeral tomorrow, I'm either going to be in the flashiest patent leather shoe you've ever seen or in a Nike trainer because I don't have anything suitable. So yeah, all the shoes.
All the shoes. My third item, I don't know if you would class it as clothing because it's a practical use, but yeah, tell me if you would or not. I need some sunglasses.
Yeah, I count.
Yeah, it clearly is, isn't it?
Yeah,
I still want to offend you if not. But
No.
I've got, I would like to say I've got a pair of aviators, silver aviators that I've had for years. And like the car keys, like the phone, they always go in a certain place and I always know where they are. They always travel with me. You know, it comes a certain time of the year you don't need them, but pretty much it's an essential thing. And I've lost my aviators and I have no idea how. I think someone stole them. Someone must have pinched them. That's the only logical way I can say I've lost them. It's a little bit disappointing because, like, you know, exciting at the same time because I'll get another pair at some point. Again, it's not a cheap item, is it? You go, well, I'm not going to just go out at the moment and get myself a pair of aviators. But I'm also hanging on by a thread to opening that case and going, there's the bad boys. I'm holding on by a thread, but I've pretty much looked through all the cases and we're moving soon, hopefully, so they might turn up. But yeah, I don't know where my aviators are as.
I really understand that feeling because I'm the same with stuff. I've got places that things go, and when they're not there, and I know I haven't moved it, and I know I haven't, then I'm just like, all right, who moved them? Who's got them? And everyone insists, you know, whatever the situation, they all insist. I didn't take it. I didn't touch it. I was like, one of you did because it's not where it should be, and I don't have it. So. And then they always either end up that someone, they go, oh yeah, I forgot that I moved it. Or, oh yeah, I do have them. They're in my pocket. And I'm like, yeah, I know they are. I knew they were all along. Give it back to me. So yeah. I feel the frustration. But you get to buy a new pair, which is not the worst thing in the world.
And they had a couple of little scratches. So, you know, it'd be nice to have a fresh pair.
Someone sat on mine. I had a really nice pair, all black, really good. And I put them in my passenger seat in my car. Driving along, picked someone up, and they just jumped in, and I heard them go. And I was just like, but you know, when
after you
it's
hit
like
them,
80%.
they went after you hit
like,
them.
I had the reflex to hit them, but then you know it's about 80% your fault for putting it on the passenger seat.
Oh yeah, okay.
So then you're kind of just like, I'll just punch you in the arm and be done with it. But yeah, wasn't great.
I came prepared with a quote today. I googled mini meltdown quote because I was interested to see what would come up, and I was quite impressed actually. This was the first quote, and I don't know who, what, where, or why, but it comes up a couple of times. Don't forget that you're human. It's okay to have a meltdown. Just don't unpack and live there. Cry it out, and then refocus on where you are headed. And I thought that sums it up for me.
Well, I came ready as well, and I didn't know about your meltdown, but yet I have come basically prepared with a meltdown quote. For anyone who listens to this show, if you haven't read the works of Ralph Waldo Emerson, you need to go read it because the man just has a way with words that I don't think gets met by many. So here's his quote. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt creep in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with not too high a spirit as to be encumbered with your old nonsense.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. On that note, as it's always a pleasure. I feel better for it. Let's not leave it another week.
Sure. We will not, indeed, guys.
We'll catch up again soon. Like, comment, all of that.
Share all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Peace.